everyone, it's Gothic Landman here. So I figured today I would just chat or rant about modern, so quote modern, vampire and werewolf related TV series that circulate Foxtel, Netflix, all the interwebs and TV series. So at the moment I figured I'd cover werewolves and wolves because it's just not as common as vampires, and I think they get underappreciated, of course. Werewolf related TV series, it's really disappointing, to be honest, or they get interlocked with vampires, and that's disappointing too, that they don't have like a bigger show than vampires. That's just my opinion. So the first one I'm going to talk about is Teen Wolf because it's very common. Everyone's probably watching it or knows about it at this stage. So yes, I've been watching Teen Wolf. Addictive, I'm not going to lie. I will give Teen Wolf credit for thinking outside the box when it comes to its supernatural creatures. It doesn't do the cliche vampires. It extends on to different supernatural creatures and bring them into this interworld. So I love that about Teen Wolf, that, and you do tend to fall in love with the characters and quite enjoy it. I think Styles would have to be my favourite character, personally, honest, instead of the other characters, just because he's the only normal one in a sense. Like when you pair with a banshee, a werewolf, and a fox, and all the other supernatural creatures that come into this world, he's just the normal one, trying to fit in. So I love Styles. He intrigues me the most just because he doesn't quite fit with the supernatural beings. So the next one I'm going to talk about is Wolfblood. This ain't very well known. It is a British TV series. It's really interesting, I've got to say. I really like Wolfblood. It starts off, reason they call it Wolfblood is you don't call them wolves or werewolves. It's Wolfblood. That's how they're called, because they're born wolves. They don't become wolves. And then it's just a family that's lived for generations in their town. They've got a long line of history of their family and keeping it hidden from the world, and they turn down in a den which is under their house, and just trying to keep the secret of being who they are, being Wolfbloods. So I think if you got to get used to the style of British TV series, because it's a very different style and different pace to American type TV series. But once you get into it, it is a quite enjoyable TV show, I'm not going to lie. So to add to this is Being Human, and unfortunately it is interlinked with vampires. So there's two versions of Being Human. There is a British version and an American version. I've watched both, but I got more into American just because, being Australian, I guess American TV relates more to me because that's what we were swamped with. But I'll admit the British one is a lot better, but the American one is addictive. So I quite enjoyed the concept and love the concept of a human, a vampire, well, not a human, I will read. A human ghost, a vampire, and a werewolf all living together and their worlds interlinking. So I quite liked that. I really enjoyed Being Human. Another one that is really dark is Hemlock Grove. It's not as well known as a lot of other things, but it is super dark. This show is worth a watch of how the dark concepts that are in it, and the vampires are sort of not fully vampires, so you'd have to watch it to get into the show. But it all has that, it's all under that supernatural world again. So I really enjoyed Hemlock Grove, and that, I'd have to say that probably fits more in the vampire genre than anything. So I'll move on to vampires because that's sort of where I'm heading now, because there is way more of modern vampire TV shows than there is werewolves, which is tragic. I've got to say, it is tragic that wolves and werewolves and all that gets underappreciated all the time just because vampires make more money. So the first one I'll talk about is good old Buffy the Vampire Slayer and Angel, which interlinked. So everyone sort of loves Buffy because Buffy was around first. So everyone enjoys the Buffy. It took me a long time to get into Buffy, I'll admit. I thought it was a bit cliche, cheerleaders fighting vampires, but once I got into it, I kind of understood what everyone was going on about. It's not my favourite. I'm not going to say Buffy's my favourite at all. I think there's a lot better than Buffy. So, modern is Vampire Diaries and Originals. They interlink together. I'll just say I enjoyed Originals better than Vampire Diaries. It's a book series, so it follows the book. But just the storyline of Originals and that I found a lot more intriguing and a bit more crueler than Vampire Diaries, and the love triangle that constantly happens in Vampire Diaries gets a bit tiring. I'll say it's tiring. And show that TV series that's intriguing me is they've only done like a couple of episodes, so I haven't seen any more of it yet. Is the new Dracula? That is kind of intriguing me. Just because it's that era of everything, that Victorian era and his mannerisms and stuff. So I'm quite enjoying that Dracula. True Blood, so addictive, horribly addictive, and I still do not like Sookie. Don't like Sookie at all. That real American sound of her voice and how she is, I just don't like it. I'm sorry. I'm an Aussie here, so you just gotta accept it. I'm an Aussie. Australian, so yes. It's an addictive show. I loved the show. I really enjoyed it, but still do not. Sookie, I guess it's the same with Buffy as well. Why? I can't cope blonde female main characters in dark related shows. I think that's what it is. You give these sort of prissy girls, put them in positions with vampires or supernatural beings, and I don't like it. Sorry, this is just my opinion. I'm entitled to an opinion. Show I love, and addicted to is Penny Dreadful. This show is so amazing and so dark, and it has everything that I'm looking for in a TV series. It's just put it all together, and season 2 was just amazing. Well, I think it was. So it brings pretty much every literature character you could kind of think of and brings them all into this show and puts them in the same sort of time frame of each other. So they're still in that Victorian era, but adding them together. So I really love Penny Dreadful for that. It's got witches, it's got vampires, it's got werewolves, It's got Frankenstein's monster. It's got Doming Grey, and it keeps going. I'm yet to see which more literature characters they add to this show. But I just love how dark and dark themed related it is, and that's how these styles of TV series should be. They should have a dark theme or aesthetic to them when you have mythical creatures and the supernatural world. So I love that. So these are sort of the ones I'm going to talk about because they're just what I'm watching at the moment. I am circulating other TV shows. I have many TV show loves, but here's my opinion on the current ones I'm watching at the moment. So comment down below if you like.